Andrew Parsons, deputy minister, telling me that's not an issue, didn't sit right with me. I was like, okay, no. You can't just say it and it's true. You can't just, the people, the 500 people that came to the meeting that they're claiming support from public, if you present a project, here's our project, A, B, C, D, E. And then 6 months later you say, well, I'm gonna pull out B and C, but here's A, D, and E, the same project, and we're gonna put in F, G, H, and I. Right? Well, these people who said to support it, they're not even attached to what you're talking about doing now. Does that make sense to you? How much this project has been changed from anyone who supported it originally to it is now, that it's not even close to the same project. Not even close. And all of it has been done in an effort to decrease building costs, to do it cheaper, faster to get to market. And what happens when you try to go under budget on a project?
Yeah, I know what's going to happen. You cut your quality control.
And quality control goes, what's your failure rate happens? What happens to your failure rate?
Well, I'll tell you, the rule of thumb on the job is, you cut your finger with a Band-Aid, just for a Band-Aid, you gotta report it. And then it'll go a little bit further, you break your finger, and then go a little bit further, and all of a sudden there's a blow,
Sure.
right? So they gotta stop it at the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And right now they're cutting out the quality control, so it's gonna be a free-for-all. We'll say, okay, we'll use a superior, not superior pipe here, we'll use a superior pipe here, something.
Just like they did in Muskrat Falls, they took a beautifully designed project, let the beam counters go at it, they adjusted the quantities on procurement, so instead of having the proper turnbuckles that the engineers told them to get across this area, which is going to experience 140 kilometer an hour winds, they stopped at the substation. No, we don't need those 3 kilometers. Guess what happened? Those 3 kilometers of towers blew up. Oh, Muskrat Falls is bad. Right? Muskrat Falls is a disgrace. I'm not supporting Muskrat Falls. I'm going to tell you, I'll be the last one standing. Muskrat Falls is genius. Danny Williams might never get any credit for it, but what we got in place is absolutely the best bar none in the world with Muskrat Falls. We can do the same thing here. That's my goal, is to make every project world class, leading edge, and environmentally friendly. I'm not opposed to any development. Bring it on. I've got an electrical contractor's license. I can have 100 electricians working on this. Right? Not crossing the line, but I'm not going to work with these people because they keep lying to me. They lied to us from the beginning. The very first thing. Oh yeah, you'll be able to get on your ski and drive up these towers anytime. Scott Cedar. I walked up to him, I said, Scotty, I said, boy, what is it? I'm talking about this ice throw, you're not going to be able to go on. Oh, yes, he said. We were over in Denmark, I was over there in Rotterdam, and then you can walk up anywhere, there's no fences. You can go up anywhere, there's towers. I said, okay. Did they get any snow there? Well, you would know, Denmark, a lot of snow. Anything compared to our environment? No, so it's really like apples and oranges, right?
I got a question. If Everett, Radisud, and Dean come in, are the owners of Everett or the managers or vice president, blah, 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 and they're not experts in this field, who is giving them the information or the expertise or who's behind the actual development? Like, is it?
They're hiring engineers out of Houston. What's the name, Robert? Houston team. The dream team they just hired.
Oh, McDermott, was it?
The company that filed for bankruptcy protection back 3 years ago.
Yep,
Yeah.
same company.
So there are.
Everett's the same company who got human rights violations. I've touched on this, but I'll open that up to women a little bit more too. They got people, all kinds of cases on the Hill in Congo and South America, right? Two completely different jurisdictions.
And Bill,
Ravi's good.
Bill, just on your last comment, in the EA, it does say that access to certain areas will be restricted depending on the current risk of ice throw at that time. And then it says ice throw is a really minimal risk, so it's not even worth talking about. But we're gonna restrict access because of the risk of ice throw.
Right now, if you go over to Northern Arm Tower, CBC Tower, or Northern Arm Mills, and you go up Northern Arm Road, access road on the back of that, you drive up to where the back guy wire comes down, there's a trail in through there, and yeah, there's all kinds of red caution. tape. They surrounded the entire perimeter of a static tower. So 450, 500 meters from that tower, just from ice falling. Never mind now putting it on a blade and turning 300 kilometers an hour, see how far she'll go. Right? Because that's what this is. These things are locked out. Right? They're turned on sideways to the wind. They're locked out in bad weather. And they're automatically turned back on. Okay? And just one second, because I want to get this, I was going to say this before. And this is from GE Wind, okay? Because you mentioned about the instrumentation. This is GE Wind. GE, General Electric, one of the biggest companies in the world. They're, in 2023, the latest equipment technology used to monitor wind turbines and weather events have been found to be ineffective in certain conditions. They're not fit. So they can get an input saying, yep, start her up, she's good to go. And here's this big 1,000-pound piece of ice, 700 feet up in the air, and whoosh, off she goes. Now, not only that, but the General Electric team goes on to talk about some of the other situations that can negate the protections that are inherently built into wind turbines. Vibration sensors in the tower and up in the main hill, 700 feet up in the air, can sense harmonics and vibrations. Well, anyone here ever seen a still night when the ice falls and everything comes down and freezes? It's not a draft of wind and then it comes right down over the Northern Iron Hills down to about 600-foot ceiling, right? And everything freezes. You can see, well, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's really pretty.
Well, those things are sitting there, not a draft of wind, 1,400 feet in the air, freezing up. Right? So yeah, they say, sure, you'll be able to go up there anytime, right? I call BS on that.
So are you saying in the wintertime, these turbines, none of the turbines will be operating?
Depends on the wind speed.
No, they'll operate.
There will be many conditions that will exist where they will be operating. They'll go from a non-operating to an operating condition. While they were non-operating, they will be icing up. Then they're going to depend on these instruments that are not 100% effective to restart these towers. They're not going to send someone in the truck. The operators looking at, yeah, no, he's good. All right, let's start this line up. This is all done in the control room. Right? So they depend on the information coming into the SCADA system. And they're going to say, yep, let's start up Ridge 22A, 9 turbines, boop. It'd be awesome to see if you're on a Skidoo back on the hill to watch these start up. It's going to be amazing from a technology point of view. But look at the hazards that have been introduced.
Are there any
There's your
ammonia
work.
plants anywhere else in Canada?
Yes. This is us. This is what they can do now. So yeah, they do it. There are Arbor Bosch reactors all over the world. And these are the electrolyzers that separate the oxygen from the hydrogen. So it's a key piece of equipment. Right? So you can get them, like I said,
Ports across Canada.
you can get them sized to this. They'll make hydrogen. Back to the future for your car. And like this stuff has been around for years, right? This stuff exists. The technology, it's just not economic. The price point is not for the people. So you can make them this big and hook it up to a little blade, or you can make them the size of this room. And I think their idea is they're going to have like 6 or 7 of these. They're going to have a bank of them.
So my question would be, why wouldn't they build the plant and these turbines away from people where you wouldn't have anybody complain? Say, for example.
This is what they think they're doing by putting it here.
We are no.
We are
not people.
We are nobody. We are nowhere. We are nobody.
Sad. For a few thousand people.
They aren't building them on the Avalon, are they? You're saying.
Well, they're going right out to the isthmus, and they're, yeah. The only problem is, it's too windy. Seriously, it's too windy. We're at 10, I think they're probably 12 or 13.
They're doing
Why
it in
do
our
you think
channel.
all the planes landed in Gander in 9/11?
But you look at the topology, right? So there's hills and stuff behind. These LiDARs that they've got out in the woods there now, they've got some fantastic equipment. Like this thing is just looking up at the sky and it can do complex They can do the calculations on complex wind patterns in the sky, just watching the clouds and the birds out flying and everything. Right? Like, they're studying it rapidly. But the bottom line is, they're looking for what can destroy their equipment, what's the limit, you know, how strong is it gonna be here? They don't want too high wind, they don't want too low wind, they want that sweet spot, right?
So the wind don't blow for 2 days, where are you gonna get the power?
Muskrat Falls.
Solar.
150 megawatts is not gonna be enough to cover base load.
10 hours of a critical
You
load.
might, wow.
That's what they said. in the-
Critical load is the infrastructure required for shutdown.
That's right. So
Not
that's
for process.
No, it said 10 hours for critical loads is what
Yeah.
it says for their backup
Yeah,
battery.
that's 10 hours to get out.
Yeah, and they're also talking.
They want,
They're getting ready in St. John's already. They're building all this stuff in St. John's now, they're changing the building, the way they build the buildings now. They gotta start to build up, right? They're getting ready for us, because they know we're not gonna be able to live there.
you're not.
CEA, which is the environmental assessment.
Yeah.
What are they, what's what I'm trying to say? What is the EA based on? Like, did they do studies on the bats in the area? Did they study on the?
They're going to.
So that's not done, that's not what this EA is about?
This-
Why is it called environmental?
This,
registration.
okay, what they're looking for is a protection release order under the Environmental Protection Act. This is what was granted to John Wesley Road GH2. This is what they want, okay? So they don't care, the government don't care what needs to be done. All they want is them to put a commitment in writing saying, we'll do it. Good enough for us, buddy, sign me up. There you go.
I'm guessing that means.
And here, by the way, here's a $120 million check.
I'm guessing that means that once this is done, and like when Strong has done their thing, there's nobody representing us, i.e. the provincial government, going to go behind and, as the phrase is in the media now, fact check anything that is presented to them. If the information they are given looks good and seems to fall within what they consider reasonable, case closed, move on.
Are we talking about if journalists have any sense?
No.
There are people that you don't.
Or the 26
Once this gets
experts.
passed to the government and everybody says, here's what we've done, here's what we're going to do, et cetera, and so on. Here's our counts, here's what we found in the environment, here's the species at risk, here's this, and this. There's nothing there where the government is gonna go back behind and do any research to confirm that the information they've been given is accurate.
Okay, let's back the train up, okay? I'm gonna give you an example